David Viscott, and good evening and welcome. This is a program that you have become a part of. As a matter of fact, the most important part, because your continued participation is what makes this thing work. I know you're out there, and I know you're paying attention. But the thing you're paying attention to most, I also know, is the part of each caller that is like you. Don't think you're being selfish about that. That's what everyone is looking for. You may start, and everyone does, you start by being a voyeur and saying, ooh, look what those people are talking about. But after a while, when that interest and curiosity comes down, you start saying, gee, I remember once feeling like that, right? Isn't that what's happening? That's the best part about the show. Harleen, how are you?
I'm fine, David. How are you doing tonight?
You know what we ought to do? You know, the full moon is something people talk about.
Uh-huh.
And we have a full moon. Show the moon. There's the moon, full. Okay, enough moon. Come back. Thank you.
Beautiful moon.
It's a beautiful moon. That's from Mount Wilson, everyone. It's not over the city, just Mount Wilson. But we ought to do something sometime to document whether calls are more bizarre on nights of full moons, or do they get more bizarre approaching? I don't know.
Well, you know, they say it affects people. You know, we'll have to see.
Well, the brain is a water battery, and the moon affects the tides. And it may be that there's a change in tide. Hormonally, in premenstrual syndrome, I bet that's one of the causative factors.
So you think that there's some credence then to, you know, everything goes crazy then?
When the
about that time?
tide's in, sanity's out.
Alrighty, we have Joe on line 9, and he's been with us before, and he wants to talk about the progress he's made.
Joe.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Joe. Refresh yourself for my listeners.
Well, first of all, I don't want to be known as the alfresco masturbator. I was the guy who was exposing himself outdoors.
Oh, you're the alfresco master.
Yeah, I hate that. I don't want to be known as that.
Go ahead.
Well, the thing is that I've noticed that I've had like periods of really high stress when I've wanted to do it again, and it only happened once. And I was in a lot of pain. And
what was the pain?
Just basically shame. Just that I'm bad.
Ah.
You know, I know that that's the core of all addiction anyways.
Well, certainly it plays a role, but one of the things you do when you're feeling all that shame about being bad is going to prove it to get punished to get it off your neck, you know what I mean?
Well, it's like a way of repunishing myself, isn't it?
Well, it's almost repunishing, but what it does is there's something adolescent about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Let me tell you about adolescence.
Okay.
Basically, an adolescent is a kid who's trying to learn a basic lesson about life.
Yeah.
And the lesson that an adolescent must eventually learn is that he can do what's good for him and what's right for him, even if it pleases his parents.
Even if it pleases his parents?
Yes. That's the lesson.
I guess that's a hard concept for me. Even if it pleases my parents.
Right. And how is it a hard concept?
Well, as I stated before, last time I talked to you, it was like my mother had been exposing herself to me and exercising in her nightgown in front of me, and I would feel very uncomfortable.
Did you ever tell her?
Yeah, I tried to say, Mom, please, just close the door. Don't do that. You know, I don't want to see you cleaning yourself. It's disgusting. I mean, and at the same time, I feel excited, and
the shame is over the excitation.
Yes, I would feel disgusted and excited at the same time.
And disgusted at yourself for being excited.
Yes, very much.
So what you're trying to do is get people to say you're a bad boy because your mother didn't have the moral strength to say it to you.
I'm a bad boy because she couldn't say it
to you.
To me.
Yeah, so
I'm still
You're
angry.
looking for controls. Ah, I know.
Yes.
But we leap ahead of the story. You're looking for someone external to yourself to control you, just as adolescents do. And the main feeling you're having is not sexual. This is not a sexual issue. It's a sexualized issue. It's, in other words, it's a play in one language that's been translated into another.
Well, see, now I understand that.
Okay, let me tell you what I understand, and then I'll give you the ball, and you can go bounce it.
Okay.
All right? The play is that you're hurt over your mother's lack of caring about your feelings makes you angry. And the anger that you've held in is redirected inward as guilt, which combines with the shame of your feeling excited over your mother's exposing herself, and therefore it bonds together and makes you feel that you need an external punishment to balance those feelings. You're afraid of losing control of your anger as much as you're disgusted at yourself for feeling excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anger is what motivates, I guess, the whole thing.
Perfect. Tell me how.
Well, I'm in a really scary place. I've recently there's something. The reason I called, the main reason, is because I've been feeling that my mom I actually had sex with my mom. It's like when I was in therapy last week.
That's the feeling or the remembrance?
The what?
It's the feeling or the remembrance?
You're asking me a question. I don't understand.
Do you remember having sex with your mother, or is it just a fantasy?
That's exactly why I'm calling. See, because I'm not sure. It's like I've in therapy. It was like I was talking to my therapist, and he said something, and then it triggered this image.
Show me.
But it was very foggy, and I
Show
really
me the image.
Huh?
Show me the image.
It was too foggy to really see. There was just a feeling behind it of
Show me the feeling
horror,
of
of me being capable to do something like that with my mom. I mean, of all people. And I realized, of course, children always take on the guilt of these types of things. But I was a teenager, too, and I was smoking pot, and I think it happened during that time because I've also had really horrible dreams that were very, very vivid, and I could tell you about them, but they may be too vivid for TV, that I was actually having sex with my mom. These were dreams, and they almost like weren't dreams. They were like really happening.
Was it the same dream?
No, different dreams. And I'd even wake up and, oh, this is so disgusting, masturbate, fantasizing about my mom. Oh, that feels so horrible. But
So part of, and then it would be over.
Huh?
And after you finish, what was the feeling you'd have?
Well, it was just kind of like, it's over, you know.
And I think what has happened, now hear me very carefully.
Okay.
Whatever the original trauma, we don't know yet.
No.
But when anger is added to the equation and is held in, the anger that is held in as guilt becomes invested in the old shame.
Yeah.
And what you have done is you feel the stress of this powerful unexpressed feeling, and you masturbate to end the feeling.
Well, that would be just like my pattern with like all women.
So why outside? Because it's out of the house.
Well, it's away from her, right?
Out of the house.
Yeah. I actually was doing it out of the house then in the backyard where no one could see me when I was a teenager.
Because you could be sure if you were outside the house, you weren't having sex with her.
Yeah, and I had some vivid fantasies which were linked up to a breakdown.
What do you mean?
I had a nervous breakdown when I was 18.
Okay, and what were the fantasies?
It was of this girl that was constantly rejecting me, and I needed her to make my life right, basically.
Okay.
She was my soulmate, so
All
to
right.
speak.
So the point is, underlying all this is that dependent need to be loved,
Yeah.
which your mother perverted by sexualizing it,
Yeah.
which you, in your need for love, went along with to the extent that you went along with it, but were disgusted by the things that you encountered in yourself.
Yeah.
That feeling caused you to feel panicky and wished not to be associated with the feeling, so to get rid of the feeling, you masturbated outside the house.
Yeah, I would dissociate when I would do it, too.
Dissociate to what?
I would just get outside of my body, like, it was just like, it felt so great, because, like, I was really believing in a way that this girl was present. And get this, I know this is really complex, and you can't answer all these questions in one night.
But I grasp it very well.
Yeah, you do, and that's why I called. But I'm now involved with a woman who's 13 years older than I am.
As if we didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, of course, Mom. In a sense, although she's very different from Mom.
A safe mom.
Yeah, and I don't let her caretake me, at least to the point that I'm conscious of, because I start feeling smothered when she does. That was a reaction that actually caused us to break up recently, that I was feeling smothered. But see, this is very complex.
Actually, it's very simple.
Is it?
Yeah, well, it's your dependent need to be loved that rules you, that you're constantly fighting with
I'm looking for approval.
all the time.
All the time. Calling you is like looking for approval.
Look, what I say doesn't matter.
Well, it helps.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's what you say to yourself afterwards that does.
Yeah, you're right. When I have to go to work tomorrow and worry about people seeing me, you know, oh my God, we saw you on David Viscott, and what? You know, that's.
How could they see you?
No, you don't see me, but they will.
Ah.
But I mean, that's just more shame acting itself out. And I know
Is that, wait a second, am I playing into your neurosis by being part of the external world where you mentally masturbate outside the house?
If I could answer that question honestly, I might not be on the phone.
Isn't it? Well, that we're getting close to it.
Yeah.
So the wish is to have approval and be forgiven.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
See, I even go to these 12-step meetings, and like I've learned how to
what
stop
other
talking.
what other drugs are you into?
Cigarettes, buying things,
Like?
like speakers for my car or a new.
Oh, you're impulse driven. Okay, I understand that. The impulse is there it is. The impulse is between rewarding and punishing yourself.
Yeah. I don't know what does that mean.
You buy things for yourself to make yourself feel good, and you do things that endanger yourself when you feel bad about yourself.
That's basically it. Yeah, that's basically my personality in a nutshell.
Okay, so let's summarize it one step further.
Uh-huh.
When you're buying things for yourself, say, I'm good, I don't need to do anything for myself. I just need to enjoy the things I have. And when you feel like punishing yourself, you say, wait a second, I'm good. I don't need to punish myself for the parts of myself I don't approve of. I just need to be aware of them.
Yeah.
And forgive yourself. Come on, you're just human. Guess what?
What?
Nervous breakdown, addiction, and all that crap, all taken all together, notwithstanding, you're much healthier than you give yourself credit.
Thank you. You said a real nice thing last time, too. I really appreciate that.
Well, if I did it twice in a row, it must mean it's true.
It must mean it's true.
Hey!
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 And I also respect what you do. I mean, really, I don't know what you're like off camera, but...
I'm the same on and off.
Are you really?
Yep.
That's great. That's great. And I'm working to get my life balanced, too. You know, it's just like, I'm feeling better now because I feel like I really do love this woman, and I love myself.
You're gonna be fine. Enough of this.
Okay.
Forgive yourself. You're still growing up.
What do I need to do about Mom? What about those issues?
Wow, what a mom like that you can't do anything about. You just stay clear of her.
I know, but she's going through major problems right now.
She always
really needs my help.
She always has.
Yeah, that's,
Limit your contact.
I do.
Make it at your comfort
that's what I'm doing.
and your convenience.
I told her the last time. I told her the last time, if you're going to be abusive and not accept what I can give, then I will not help you. Period.
Joe,
Huh?
the alfresco masturbator has grown up.
All right. It's only been 5 months or 4 months. That's great.
How about that, Moon?
It's neat. I only saw it on TV on your show. I really didn't.
There it is again.
Yeah, it's a little blurry, but
It's a moon for you.
it looks. Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
We'll be right back. David Viscott here, waiting for you to call. Interesting program this evening, I think. Running the gamut of just about every feeling, but what we seem to be seeing is this constant picture over and over again of a feeling that hasn't been dealt with reappearing in your life and causing people to do things out of control. Maybe it happens to you a little bit.
Okay, we've got Jim and Terry. They're on line 12, and they have some concerns about their future together.
Jim?
Hi.
Hi, Jim. Terry?
Hi,
Oh, good. We have two people, two lines. How old are you, Jim?
I'm 40.
And Terry?
31.
What's going on? Who? What's wrong?
Oh, well, before we start, I wanted to tell you I happened to see your seminar at ECC College, and I wanted to congratulate you on your appearance.
Thank you. But what's wrong?
Intimacy and trusting male.
That's a problem of yours?
Yes.
Since when?
Since I was kidnapped and attempted murdered
When was that?
about a year ago.
Are you married, the two of you?
No.
Not yet.
How long have you been together?
Four to about 5 years.
So you'd been together about 3 or 4 years, and then you were kidnapped?
Right.
Right.
And then what were things okay before the kidnap?
Yeah, but
Well, you say that with that funny little, yeah. What does yeah mean? Not really, is what it means.
well, I've had a trust problem with, because I come from a dysfunctional, but then again, all people are. But other than that,
Finish your sentences. You come from a dysfunctional family?
yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Your,
But-
your parents are alcoholic?
My dad was.
Okay. And did your dad abuse you?
I don't have any recall on that.
No, physically or sexually?
No.
Verbally?
Well, physical. I don't remember that
When
way
you
back.
Okay, make your mind a complete blank. Give me this camera, please. Make your mind come in right close. Way close. Make your mind a complete blank. You doing that?
Yeah.
I'm going to mention a word, and you tell me the first feeling you get. Daddy.
I can't think of him anymore.
So it's a bad feeling.
Right.
Okay. So there we are. All right? All right. So you were kidnapped?
Right.
Under what circumstances?
I really don't know. I came home from
What do you mean you don't know? How do you not know?
Well, she was in the parking lot at a restaurant, and she was.
Why did
meeting-
you just jump in?
She gets flustered.
Yeah, that's fine. Why are you protecting her? I'm curious. I mean, I'm not angry, but why at that particular moment?
Because
You want to protect her, right, from this?
yes, I'm trying to protect her.
And you have a lot of unresolved hurt and anger over this kidnapping as well, right?
Yes.
And what you're doing is you're going to protect her in any way you can, even if it's jumping in and helping her through it when I question her, right?
No, I'll shut up. I'll shut up.
No, it's not bad. It's just understand it. That must mean that you have a lot of anger that you felt trapped in not being able to do something with, Jim. And now that you see her flustering, you're going to help her now. If you couldn't be there to save her from the kidnapper, you'll save her from her flustering. Right?
Yes.
Okay. That's sweet of you. But it comes from your unresolved anger. Why? What was going on at the kidnapping, Terry?
well, it was a guy I knew from when I grew up, and we dated, and then we were like childhood sweethearts, and so on and so forth. And so, after about 17, 16 years, no, about 7 to 19 years, something like that, he happened to call and wanted to know if I could meet him for a cup of coffee, and I said no.
Speak up. He wanted you to meet him for a cup of coffee?
Right. And I saw no reason or no problem with that, so I did. And then when we were walking out of the coffee shop, he wanted to show me a few of his certificates of I forget what they were. And then I said, well, it's getting to be a little bit late, and I've got to get to bed because I got to get up to go to work, and you have a long drive home yourself, so so he hugged and we kissed on the cheeks and said our goodbyes, and then all of a sudden he just turned cold, and then would not let go of me from a hugging position, And then he said okay, and then we got apart, and then with like cold eyes, and he says, I don't want to hurt you. And then he just punched me in the face, like skin cold. And then after that, he used a stun gun on me. Then he used his whole body to force the air out of my throat, and me to pass out. And when I regained consciousness, I found my hands handcuffed behind the seat of the car, and my neck with the Velcro straps around it, and he takes off, and then I don't know whereabouts where we were. Then he stops. We're on the freeway. We stop on the side of the highway, and then he uncuffs me, undoes the Velcro around my neck, and then takes me down into the embankment and says, once we get down onto the embankment, he starts taking my shirt off, and I start pulling it down. I said, and I just happened to say something I have $50 I'll give you to fix your window. But before I said that, I said, he told me while he's trying to take my shirt off, he's going, I'm gonna rape you and kill you and tie you up against the tree with your clothes. And while he was saying that and taking my shirt off, I said, look, will you please take me back home? I'll give you $50 I have in my car, because I keep a billfold underneath my car when I know I should not, but because
How'd you get out of that?
I don't know, maybe as the grace of God, because of me saying I had the money.
Did you press charges?
Yes, he's in jail for 30 years.
Crazy.
Yes.
Okay, so the main thing is is that you haven't gotten over it.
No, I haven't.
And it brought up all of your trust problems, and I wonder if something in the way in which you were treated reminded you of some of the feelings you had about your dad.
I don't know.
Well, why don't you know something about that? Know something. Come on. Is there anything about the way you were treated by him that reminded you of your dad?
Well, I was by my father. The only thing I remember about my father, he's never really, gave me, the, what's the word?
Approval?
Yeah, approval.
Love?
Love and
Affection?
right, because he walked out when I was 9 years old.
Yeah. And you had been with him for 17 years. That means you've been with him when you were 14.
No, I knew him since I was 9 years old.
Okay, so this is the guy.
We were babysat by the same people, and
Wait a second. This is the guy you replaced your father with. Isn't that right?
possibility.
No. Come on.
More than likely.
Yes is the answer. To whatever extent it's true. Just go with what part of it is true. You replaced your father with him to some extent, right? Yeah. And then when he returns, the distrust that you had for your father is recreated by the distrust of this man, who you used to escape from the distrust of your father, and now all of that distrust issue has blown way up because there's no place to go with it. Do you understand that?
I think so.
You think so or you do? Come on.
I do, but
All right, just go with the part that you do. You used him to deal with the lack of trust that you had of your father. Now he betrayed you, and that reawakened all that sense that no man can be trusted, right?
yeah.
Well, isn't that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Jim, do you understand this?
Yes.
Clearer than before?
Yes.
You're crying.
No, not yet.
But you're feeling it.
Yeah, I'm around her all the time. I love her intensely. I just want to see that she doesn't hurt.
Well, she has to hurt in order to get over the hurt. And what I think the two of you should do is become involved in a therapeutic relationship which is focused upon finding the source of these issues, which are right here, are exposed to you just as I've said them, so that you can get to the place of forgiving your dad and moving on and begin the whole question of learning how to trust again. This is a problem that takes a little time, but it's one that you really cannot have happiness in life till you conquer. You've got a good man who loves you, but the point is, you don't believe, Terry, at some place that you're deserving of someone loving you, because that's the damage that this does. Can you relate to what I just said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Stay on the line. We're going to give you a referral to help you get to the bottom of this, because you both deserve the best with this.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Very hard, but when trust is broken and you replace it without resolving it, you become vulnerable to any trust breaking again. You just saw how that happens. We'll be right back. By the way, if you're especially touched by this program, or touched by a specific call or a specific comment, you ought to make note of that, because the thing that touches you because you're vulnerable to that issue. And the thing you learn the most about when you're watching this and listening is the part of yourself that's unresolved. Don't be afraid of it, don't panic, and don't get nervous on me. If something touches you really deeply, it's probably related to something unresolved in you. That's how it works, you know. That's why theater, drama, music, arts all work, because they touch you and cut through to some part. Who's next?
Okay, we have Paul. He's on line 1, and he wants to talk about his angry feelings.
Paul.
Hello, Dr. Viscott.
How old are you, Paul?
33.
What can I do for you?
Well, I'm very angry with my father for many events that happened to me in my past, and I want to know how to forgive him and to move on with my life.
What are you angry at him for?
Well, when I was 12, he took me and my sister away from my mother and moved across the country. And
what are you feeling right at this instant? Just now?
anger.
No, before the anger. I felt another feeling in the silence.
Fear?
Before that, maybe. Don't guess. What would it feel like? Put your hand on the part of your body that felt that feeling. What was it?
My heart?
Yeah. What was it? It hurt.
Right, hurt.
Yeah, okay. So that's what you remember. It's the constant hurt. So you have never forgiven your father.
Right.
Okay, why did he leave your mother?
Oh, well, they divorced.
Yeah, but why?
Well, actually, my mother left him. She divorced him.
So why are you blaming him?
Because during the divorce, custody was awarded to my mother, and less than a year later, he remarried and went back to court and won custody, and then moved across the country with us. And I guess I didn't like that when I was younger.
Okay, but how did you get along with your father during the year that he was separate from your mother and you were with your mother?
Okay, I guess. We would visit him. He had visitation rights.
And how did that feel when you visited him?
Okay,
Okay?
yeah,
How did it feel living with your mother?
fine.
Fine.
When they were together, and I feared him when I was a little child. I never liked to come home from school after school and find him home. He would strike my mother at times late at night, and he would strike me as a child. And so I guess when they were together, I never really wanted to be around him. So I guess when he was away, when he was out of the house, and we would just maybe visit him once over the weekend, then it was okay, but we weren't living with him.
Okay. You said a series of things. What else?
Well, I was born with an undescended right testicle, and it wasn't until I was 16 years old that he took me to the doctor to have it fixed. And it's
He knew about it?
I don't know if he knew about it, and this is the subject I've never really spoken to him about, but I'm going to see him tomorrow, and I guess I wanted to bring that up. I really don't know how to talk to him about all these hurts that
How come I didn't have medical attention for my testicle till I was 16? I've just always wondered about that. That's how you say that.
Okay.
When were you first aware of it?
I guess when I was a little child in the bathtub.
Okay, didn't you have a pediatrician?
No. Due to our religious beliefs, I didn't go to the doctor.
What were your religious beliefs?
We were Christian Scientists.
Your dad?
Yeah.
That would explain it. Well, so why did you go to the doctor when you were 16 is the question.
Well, I was applying for an appointment to a federal academy, and you needed to have a physical to get in, and I believe he must have found out that you couldn't get in with only one testicle.
Okay, so you had an external reason. You know the reason. They were Christian Scientists.
Yeah.
What else do you need to know? Are you a Christian Scientist?
No, not now.
Okay. What else was there? Anything else?
No.
Something's missing. You know it too, right?
No, that was the big thing.
No. Something really big is missing. It's a four-letter word.
Love?
Yeah. Where is the love in your life from your family? I get a lot of cold, distanced, intellectualized people making decisions that are by the law. I don't get a sense of belonging. You talk about a family that doesn't have any real intensity of feeling. It doesn't seem like anything that you could hate or love. It's just blah.
Yeah.
Isn't that what's missing?
Yeah.
It's not just your father, it's not just your mother, it's the way they thought about the world.
Mm-hmm.
An idea was more important than a child's reality.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, what are you feeling as you talk to me?
Nervous?
Why?
Well, I guess I'm not proud of my parents. I'm not proud of my past, my upbringing, the way I was brought up.
What do you feel ashamed of?
Not being normal, I guess.
You're talking testicularly, religious, philosophically, what?
Both, or all three. I felt I didn't feel normal as a child growing up. I didn't really want to get.
I'm right there. You felt that there was something unlovable about you because the family was unlovable, but feeling that you only had one testicle made you feel strange as a kid.
Yeah.
And also not right. And then when all this happened and you were separated from your mother and there was no feelings involved, it reinforced the feeling that maybe your feelings didn't matter and maybe you were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that clicking?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you know they were all full of it, right?
Well, I don't know if they were full of it. I guess that was their beliefs, and that's,
But do you have a kid?
yes, I do.
How do you feel towards your kid?
Fine. I'm not going to raise them the way I was raised.
What do you feel towards your kid?
I don't know.
What do you feel towards your kid? You look at your kid and what do you feel? Do you feel love?
Yes.
So why don't you say it?
Well, I've actually been separated from him for the past several years.
Why?
Due to divorce.
Uh-huh. So in some way you're having some difficulty comparing yourself to your own dad.
Okay.
Did you fight hard to get that kid's custody?
No.
Why? Did you?
Well, I felt that he would be best with his mother, and I guess I felt that way because of my upbringing.
Right, but is that what you wanted?
No, I guess I would have preferred joint custody.
Well, maybe you ought to go for it. And maybe what you learned tonight is that your father wasn't completely wrong, and that the way you tried to compensate for that old feeling was to do something that went against your natural feeling. Love is the driving force of your life. You have to let it reign. It's not about your father. It's about you not being free to do what you want to do. Okay?
I see.
Okay. Who's next?
Okay, we have James. He's on line B, and 5 of his best friends have been killed, and now he's worried. Or have died, pardon me.
James?
Yeah?
Hi, James. What's wrong?
I don't really know. I'm just confused. I'm scared.
5 of your friends have died?
Mm-hmm.
How?
1 suicide, 1 drugs, 2 in a car accident.
And the 5th?
I don't know. I think I have to go one by one, really. The other one was a heart problem.
How close were you to these kids?
The one with the heart problem wasn't that close. I mean, the last one who died, he died on a Friday, and I lifted weights with him that day, like 2 hours before he died.
This is the accident?
That was the guy who overdosed. He overdosed on acid.
On acid?
Yeah.
Hmm.
He got in a fight with like 6 cops were trying to throw him down and everything, and he didn't die there. They put some kind of chokehold on him, and then he died in the hospital like an hour later.
From the chokehold?
Yeah, that's what they say. But they say from the chokehold, and then that's what all the newspapers say. But I haven't seen the latest on the autopsy.
How long ago did he die?
About 1 month.
About a month. And your friend who killed himself, when was that?
About 2 months ago, he hung himself.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, I talked to him like 3 days before, and we used to play football on Saturdays, and he just, I don't know, people say it was an accident. He was like on top of the washer, and they think he like slipped off with his socks. He hung himself with his karate belt. Some people say it's an accident, but I don't know.
Doesn't sound like an accident. In the car accident?
The first one was a girl. One girl, someone ran a red light, and she was with her boyfriend, and she died.
How well did you know her?
I known her since 7th grade. I had a crush on her for like a year or so.
Uh-huh. And the other one?
And another one was Raymond. There's 2 Raymonds, and another one, he was, I known him since 6th grade, and we never were close. I used to joke around with him, but I mean, just the fact that I knew him. I mean, there's been just that's 6 people in our class, the class of '93, and I've known a lot more people who died around me. Like the security guard died during summer at our school, and I talked to him that same day.
Well, the fact is you were really close with 2 of them, right?
Yeah, well, I was close to a couple of them, yeah.
Yeah, but mostly,
And another one,
you were close mostly to 2, but you knew the others pretty well.
yeah, 'cause 2 of them I went to elementary school with.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you were close to them, all right? All right, the main thing is that you're experiencing something that is always shocking to young people. The first time someone you know dies. I remember I lost a friend who developed cancer of the bone in the 6th grade. And he,
Yeah, my friend did in 6th grade too. Another one.
yeah, and it was like a shock. I mean, the whole school was upset, and they had meetings about it. And then another kid died running around the track. He had an undiagnosed heart ailment, you know. And then another friend committed suicide in senior year. Another dear friend was killed on the Cape, hit a tree. You know, all these awful things.
I almost died too.
Yeah, you're worried about that, huh?
Yeah, because I still have flashbacks.
You doing drugs?
I did. I haven't since then because I'm so scared. I mean,
It's good reason not to do drugs. They put you out of control. You know, one of the dangers of being young is that you don't believe in your own mortality. And when you have mortality of your friends placed in front of you, it's something that you see as something you can't grasp. I mean, my best friend died 2 summers ago. Another friend of mine that I loved dearly died on the squash court. A very dear relative, we found out this morning, has got tumors on the liver. And you know, as you grow older, you discover that not everyone makes it.
well, see, like my Challenger, 7 people died on the Challenger, right? It was 5 guys and 2 girls, and our 7th grade school was named Challenger, as we were the first class that ever went there. And it's been 5 guys who
You're not
died and 1
jinxed.
girl.
Come on, don't make a case for being jinxed. You
I mean, that's what people are saying. I mean,
but you can't do that. You cannot do that. And what you do is these can become self-fulfilling prophecies. When you're driving along, you're going too fast in the car. It's a rainy surface, and you're driving too fast, and you say, maybe it's me, maybe it's me. And then you see someone pull out in front of you, and instead of protecting yourself, you say, it's me, I know it's me this time. And instead of hitting the brake, you hit the car and you buy the farm. Come on, your life is independent of other lives. I know you may not believe this, James, but the truth is there's slack in the universe. It's not tied up that closely. There are no curses. It's only when you believe it to be. Your life is safe if you're safe, and then if you're a little lucky. I can't say that you're going to be safe, but I'll tell you, if you're driving 50 miles an hour down a street, it's one thing, but if you're driving 120, it's another thing. All you can do is take care of yourself. The astonishing thing, if you really want to hear it from my point of view, is that why more adolescents are not dead. When you think of how many times you almost bought it, when you think of how all the stories you hear from your friends about how close they came, don't you wonder?
well, I came that close. That's what scares me. Is
So you have to be more careful.
but I am. I mean,
And you're just starting. I think one of the things you need to do, and I think maybe even the kids in your class maybe want to do, is maybe some more of them should call up. And if you would like, maybe you would like to talk to someone. But I think I'd like to speak to other kids in your class who are worried. Maybe we can do a conference call with them. Anyhow, stay on. We're going to give you some numbers to call. Stay with me. We'll be right back. Welcome back. David Viscott, looking with you at all the feelings that end up controlling your life when you don't admit them. Who do we have?
Okay, we have Randy on line 3, and he can't stand to hear other people eat.
Randy?
Yes.
What is this?
I get totally angered by hearing certain like chewing noises or somebody chewing on candy or like hard candies or popping gum in their mouth. It just makes me go bananas. I get so angry sometimes. I could actually feel the muscle in my arm start to twitch.
How long have you felt like this?
How long have I what?
Felt like this?
Well, I guess it's gotten worse in the last year or two, but as far back as I can remember as 8 years old.
8 years old?
That's right.
Was there any change in your living arrangements when you were 8? Any? Yes?
My mother got married
To
when she was not, well, when I was 9, she got married.
Okay. So this is to a new person. What happened to your dad?
My parents were divorced before I was born.
Okay. So your mother remarried. Was your stepfather a noisy eater?
Not particularly.
Who was?
My sister and my brother.
Okay. How old were they?
My brother was the same age. My sister was 3 years older.
Your brother was the same age?
Right.
He was a twin?
Close to it.
How do you mean?
Yeah, well, we are twins. Yeah. 4 minutes. Well, 4 minutes apart.
Okay, there it is. So your brother is a noisy eater.
Right.
And there's no one closer to you than a twin brother, right?
That's true.
And when your twin brother makes a lot of noise and makes gesticulating motions with the mouth, you see someone, you identical twin?
No, we're not fraternal.
But do you look like each other?
Not at all.
But do you see yourself in him?
No, I don't.
Not at all, right?
No, I don't. No.
Okay. All right, so here's your brother chomping away, making all kinds of noise like a cow chewing his her cud, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the feeling that goes through your head is what?
It's
Disgusting.
anger. It's total disgust.
It's like, what you've done is you've translated all your sibling rivalry into the symbolic form of someone chomping and chewing. So, see, to be angered by someone making that sound is one thing. Annoyed is one thing, but angered is another, right?
Right. And it gets super intense to where I have to either, if I'm eating at a table and it's not even my brother or somebody.
Not even, but when it is.
I have to get up. I have to get up and walk away.
And when it's your brother. When it's your brother.
I just tell him to stop.
Because?
Well, because he lets me, and sometimes he actually tries not to, or sometimes he'll say, F you.
Right, but it's a way of getting at you because your brother knows what bothers you. The amazing thing about this is...
What?
The amazing thing about this, the key, is that when I asked you, you said your brother's your same age. You wouldn't admit he was your twin. You hate to admit that he's your twin.
Well, I said that because I don't want to be identified.
Yeah, but guess what?
What?
You practice saying that.
I did?
Well, come on. That's something you say commonly about your brother, right?
No, I don't.
You wish he weren't your brother because he's such a noisy eater.
No. I couldn't say that's true.
You wouldn't?
Well,
I think
sometimes.
Sometimes. I think you're angry at your brother for a lot of other things. I think you're angry at your brother because he's your brother. I think you're angry at your brother because of the fact that it's hard to share love when there isn't a father in the house, and this goes back a long way. It comes to forgiving your father, your brother, and forgiving your father for divorcing your mother, and letting go.